Welcome everyone to the School of Radiance podcast. I'm your host, a humble human on a mission, here to help you both look and feel your best. So, if you tuned into one of my previous solo episodes, I shared something that happened to me, and I wanted to just, first of all, talk about what we can do to overcome stress. Super important. And this is such a great time to just get regrounded and kind of revitalized with the spring season. So, we're going to be focusing on things that we can do to really kind of uplift our mood and our energy and truly get the most out of life. Because when you are happy and you're feeling energized and you exude this beautiful, radiant energy, this is what true beauty is. And sometimes we go through shifts in life, ups, downs, ins, outs, obstacles, never roadblocks, because we overcome these obstacles in our lives. It's so key that when we do overcome something and we make it out on the other end, that we just continue to focus on our self-care, continue to look after ourselves, but also have an awareness as to what it was like for when you went into something. Full transparency, I was actually just about to record an episode with just an incredible medical doctor, but there was like a miscommunication with, we're just going to like talk about what we're going to talk about and not record. And it was just so funny for me because she's a like-minded individual. I'm really excited for you to meet her. She's going to be on the show next week. Her name is Dr. Jess, and we're like two peas in a pod. So sometimes when we are going through this journey of truly being the best person we can be, there's things that happen that aren't really a lot of fun. And then there's also things that happen, it's just like poof, that worked itself out. A thing with me that just literally worked itself out today, that's just like, oh my gosh, this huge weight off my shoulders, is making it easier than ever for you to get the Always Radiant skincare product. So just a little bit of an update. If you are a Canadian, to reach out to me directly. If you're US, continue to shop at alwaysradiantskinshop.com. And literally, I'm here to just make this whole process of being your most beautiful, high vibe radiant version as easy as possible. So what I want to highlight is this concept of self-awareness. And this is directly tied to beauty because we're kind of just feeling like we need a bit of a charge up. Things just aren't kind of going our way. Just notice when that's happening and have awareness with what's going in your body, what's happening in your body somatically. All of us go through things. I don't particularly believe that life is easy for everyone, like all the time. However, life is full of a little bit more grace and ease for those of us who are living in this more beauty-filled, positive, radiant way. And one of the things I love to do in the fall winter season is kind of hermit a little bit more, go within, kind of think about the different projects or accomplishments or goals that I'm looking to achieve. And then spring is really, I find, when those things come to fruition and things happen at just the right time. So when you feel like the world is coming down around you, it's like, this happens. It's like, oh my gosh. And your body just goes like, whoa, need a break, need a rest, need to have some fun, need to recharge. Give that to yourself. One of my favorite things about I can hear my Canadian accent coming back. It's very amusing to me. But one of the things I love about being a woman and having our self-care practices, our beautification rituals, whether that's washing your hair, shaving your legs, doing your skincare, doing your makeup, putting on a cute outfit, these, I think, are moments to be cherished and revel in your AM and PM skincare and self-care routine. There's more gold in those moments for just taking time for yourself and knowing that you're worth it and knowing that you're doing good things that are constructive to keep your body clean and keep up with your grooming and keep up with your skincare and a little bit of effort into how you look with your hair, your makeup, and your outfit. I think it really does go a long way when you look at yourself in the mirror and you recognize that, yeah, you put a little extra effort. And then when you go out in the world, people notice. I was at the gym the other day. I'm at the gym all the time. A little bit of a gym rat over here. And as I was leaving, there was this young gentleman, I think kind of around my age. And he said, "Oh, you have such a beautiful smile. Are you always smiling?" Because I do have this very kind of like pleasant, warm, open demeanor to me when I'm in public, or I have my sunglasses on and it's like, don't talk to me. I'm kind of in like stealth mode. If you're in the membership, you know exactly what I'm talking about, or if you're an empath and things like that. We kind of have some of those days. But I was in this very lovely, beautiful energy, just finished a workout. So I had a little dopamine, a little oxytocin, and all that good stuff. And I said, "You know what? I'm always smiling." And then he said something like, "Oh, keep smiling." And he gave me this really warm smile back. And it's kind of cool when you get, it's not so much validation, but just like a recognition that, hey, you do carry yourself in a really beautiful way. And maybe that man seeing me smiling and carrying myself in a very positive, feminine way probably actually brightened his day up a little bit, which is kind of funny. So we don't always think about how when we take the time to do our self-care and beautification, that it can actually, something as simple as that, bringing beauty and showing beauty in the world, can help to, in a way, raise someone else's vibration. Super interesting concept regarding beauty. And as you know, I love to study sort of the ins and outs of beauty, the fantastic side to it, but also the shadow side. And the shadow side to beautification and self-care is actually vanity. And I know a lot of you have, when we do a one-on-one, you say this to me. You're like, I want to take better care of my skin and maybe take care of some of these brown spots and skin redness and broken capillaries. I love to sort out some of these fine lines and wrinkles and loss of collagen that I've noticed, but it feels vain to me. If you are that individual, I just would love for you to kind of reframe this, because you get one body and you got one life, right? You're in this life. You might believe in multiple lives. Oh well, that's not up for the topic at hand. It really is about making the most out of the time and the energy and the connections and your purpose in your life. And it really is the present moment that matters. They call it the present moment, because it's a present, it's a gift. I think that's from a cute movie or something like Emperor's New Groove or something like that. But it actually is a great way to look at your self-care, and that you are worth it, and that your self-care isn't vain. Say, for example, you are a mom and you barely have time to have a shower and you left the house with wet hair. I know I was chatting with one of my teammates, Nikki, who you might actually engage with behind the scenes if you have questions over at the schoolofradiance.com. Basically, behind the scenes is an incredible team of Erica and Nikki, who are both young moms. And I know that Nikki will get a kick out of me talking about this. And, she was supposed to come over today and we were going to do some things. And she's like, just an FYI, I got wet hair. I barely got out of the house today and all these things. And it's like, don't worry about it. We'll connect when the time is right. And then the funny thing is that there was like this huge project that I needed help with and had asked the team behind the scenes to support me with. And it's okay to ask for help sometimes. And guess what? It magically resolved itself today. So I am very happy about that and just feel like this weight has been lifted off my shoulders. So sometimes we do need to practice a little bit of patience to see things through and notice when those redirections happen. It could be a door closing on something because something else better is coming along. Let me know. I'm super curious to hear from you. I mean, you can comment on this episode or send me a direct email, info@theschoolofradiance.com. If you felt this shift in the spring in your life. I love the springtime, and I personally feel like I just come back to life. And I'm looking out of my office window here and see just this beautiful rose bush. The sun is shining. The flowers are in blossom. There's some squirrels running around in the trees. Sometimes there's a little white cat. And it took a walk outside to do some grounding earlier, and I saw like two little bumblebees buzzing around each other. So really revel in those moments of appreciating the beauty around you, because beauty is such a beautiful high vibe state. And if you're kind of feeling like you're in a little bit of a slump, what you can do is, number one, do your beautification. And number two, bring more beauty into your home. And that can likely take the form of fresh cut flowers. Do slow down and notice those beautiful moments or those beautiful encounters, like that gentleman that said, "Oh, are you always smiling?" And it's not like I was walking around with this huge beaming smile. It's like super awkward or something like that. But I was just in a great mood. I just done a workout and feeling good finally, because a little while before that I wasn't so much. And if you tune into the show, you would have caught that audio only. So I'm going to share some things that I think can really help to support you and just build upon your resilience and your readiness to be radiant as much as you can. Shine that light in the way that feels best for you in the most purest form possible. Cold plunging. Really, really important to get back. I know for myself, to get back to doing some more cold plunging, balancing that hot and the cold. If you've been a longtime follower, you know that I used to really push myself with cold plunging to recover from two pretty rough car crashes, to help bring that inflammation down and just provide some pain relief in a way. Cold plunging was absolutely instrumental for me in the recovery process. But I had a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner mention to me, you really should balance that cold with some heat, with a hot shower, a hot bath, or my sunlight and sauna that's right next to me here. And so then I was just like, I don't like being cold anymore. It makes my body feel all tight and things like that. It's like, I don't want to be cold. I love the heat. However, in the process of really dialing back on cold exposure, I truly noticed that when a stressful event occurred last week, I should have been able to just get over it and roll through it and flow through the different things that I was feeling. And it was almost like static on the airways. It's like I couldn't shift it or flow through it as quickly as I typically do. And through just this practice that I encourage you all to cultivate is this practice of self-awareness. What are you feeling in your body? And for me, it was my heart was just like racing. And I was on my PEMF mat, ate some food, had some adaptogens, stayed hydrated, all those good things. And I was actually able to shift it through deep breathing and just a little bit of like self-caressing. And what this does, when you kind of give yourself a hug, if you're in a little bit of having a moment or something, is it kind of distracts or shifts your nervous system and gets you back into the parasympathetic state, which is that rest and digest. And when we're experiencing a little bit of like friction or turbulence or static on the airways, that sympathetic nervous system kicks into high gear. And that's the high cortisol and adrenaline state, which messes with your hormones. High cortisol tanks your adrenals. And it also really quickly breaks down collagen and elastin. That's why when we are in our most peaceful, regulated, calm state, we have better eye contact. Our sentence structure is more coherent. Our memory is much better. I mean, mom brain, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause brain, like this is a thing. But it does come down to this balance of getting those cold plunging moments in. And to do this, take a 30-second cold shower, or if the ocean is cool where you are, or there's a body of water, get yourself exposed to that for just a couple of minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes, and balance it with the heat. I wanted to mention that. The other thing that I actually tried for the first time, I mean, you've heard me say I don't like to use the word try, I use the word do. And I did a little bit of a catch with myself because, as you know, as a longtime listener here, that I'm very conscious about the words that I utilize in conversation and communication, as well as my own self talk. And I jumped on a live. It was actually one of Dave Asprey's IG lives. And I said, hey, and he said, hey, Rachel Varga, great to see you, which was kind of cool. He was doing an interview with the company Regen, who's actually been on the show. If you go to the biohacking page, you'll see the Regen products. It basically helps to support your body's ability to actually make new stem cells, which is pretty cool. I have a whole episode with Regen here on the School of Radiance podcast, and that product is available on the biohacking page. So I was listening to this IG live, and Dave had mentioned, hey, if you have like not a great sleep, I think he was talking to his girlfriend or something like that. And she had like a 30 something sleep score. And I know for a fact I didn't have a great sleep. I really need to do cleanse myself as well. And I'm actually going to be doing it this week because I've just sort of noticed that things have been a little bit off in my body, like just a little bit. And when I say that, I perform at a pretty high level, both mentally, emotionally, energetically, and I do a lot, as many of you know. But I didn't have a great sleep and woke up really early. I didn't take my magnesium. I didn't wash my face before bed. I think I ate a little close to bedtime. Like sometimes we have these nights. And so I woke up, wasn't feeling great. And he said in this tip to his girlfriend, utilize some creatine. And for those of you tuning in, I love the Organifi creatine gummies. So if you're looking for a creatine monohydrate source, I'm a huge fan of the Organifi creatine gummies. They're delicious. And I really have noticed a difference in being able to put on about 15 pounds of muscle since last August. Muscle is huge. And I really want to be able to open jars. I mean, if my man's not around, I ask him to open the jar, ask for his help. But I really want to be able to get the most out of this life. And I know you do too. That's why you're here, to learn how to both look and feel your best. So I'm really putting quite a bit of attention on my physical fitness, being in active recovery after 2 car crashes. Notice how I didn't say my injuries or my accident or my pain or my whiplash. I'm in active recovery mode. And creatine has been huge to help me out. So you can get those creatine gummies over at Organifi, spelt with an I.com/Varga, and use promo code Varga and save 20% off. There's lots of research on creatine for not only the muscle building capacity and support, but also the cognitive support. So he says in this IG live, take 20 grams of creatine. I'm like, oh my gosh, like 3 to 5 is what the research shows is a good amount. No, I'm not making dosage recommendations. This is not medical advice. This is educational information only. If you think you have a medical condition, you must seek the guidance of a licensed physician. And so he mentioned this in like this very casual IG live of how to hack not having a great sleep. And as a biohacker, what we typically do is we do things, not try things, but we're trialing things and see if it makes a difference. And I just woke up like I was just like, oh my gosh, should I get another 2 hours of sleep? I mean, I went to bed at a good hour and woke up at about 6:30. I just didn't wake up feeling rested and rejuvenated as I typically do. Also, the reason for that, which also I think played into just feeling a little bit more stressed out last week, is I need to replace my 8 sleep. And my 8 sleep is this brilliant piece of technology I clearly swear by now, because I've been able to see the contrast of how much better I sleep with that temperature regulation to keep my temperature optimized in my sleep stages. So it will heat or cool the mattress that I'm sleeping on. I use the mattress cover. And anyway, something happened with it, and they're going to send me a new one. It's under warranty. Thanks so much, 8 Sleep. You can also get this on my biohacking page. But I haven't had it for about 2 weeks now, and I really noticed a difference. So that's why sleep is so incredibly potent for helping you both look and feel your best. So what polarity can show us in life is what feels really good and also maybe what doesn't feel so good. And for me, sleep was a huge thing. And anyway, so I did this 20 grams of creatine when I woke up, when I heard that tip, like, oh, you had a crummy sleep, try some creatine. And like 20 grams is quite a bit. And again, typically I would do about 3 to 5. I would have it before my workout and just felt like energized from it and could lift heavier and continue to see those gains and energy. However, I didn't know that the cognitive benefit for me could be so profound. So I had the 20 grams of creatine with the Organifi monohydrate creatine gummies, again, that you can get at Organifi.com/Varga. Use code Varga. I love that one. I feel great on it, and it's a good source. I like it. I trust it. So I did 20 grams. I kid you not. I have felt so good today. So good today. Clear-headed, getting things done, really focused. And I know that, my cycle plays into this as well as for you too, with what your energy levels are. And with the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle, it's good to have the self-awareness of where you are so that when you do feel like a little bit more emotional or you don't have the same energy that you typically do, just to kind of have a bit of a reality check of, oh, it could be related to that. Could also be related to not sleeping as well and not doing as much cold exposure. Well, now we need to have a conversation of what can we do about it. So I had this 20 grams of creatine actually before I had my AM coffee. And I always put a scoop of protein, honey, milk in my coffee. And so I had this creatine and I felt like I had had coffee already. And, I'm Dutch. I love my coffee and all that stuff. I'm sure you do too. It's like, oh, maybe I need to have my danger coffee today because I definitely notice a difference when I have that one too, with mental clarity and acuity. I'm telling you, though, this 20 grams of creatine to hack not having a great sleep is incredible. So, here I am in this moment of feeling the mental benefits and that mental support of creatine. There's tons of research on the cognitive benefits of creatine. I just didn't know that it would feel this significant. So, this is kind of a golden nugget I think that you can take with you if you do have one of those days where you just don't have a great sleep and you still got lots to do, care for the family, do your work, show up as your best self, not be like a grumpy complainer. Nobody wants to hang around a complainer. That's not a lot of fun. By the way, if someone around you is complaining a lot, because you don't want it to kind of affect your mood and all of that, just simply ask them in a very kind, loving way, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because I would say that from an etiquette standpoint, if you are a bit of a complainer, to kind of like check yourself and notice how many friends you have. If you complain a lot, do people actually like want to hang out with you? I did a follow-up call with Blair, and one of the things that she mentioned was, she'd love to have more friends and enhance her circle of friends around her of women. And I think that this is something we truly all need to kind of pull ourselves out of a bit of a funk, is to really focus on things that light you up, like hobbies. So say for me, it's the gym, it's hanging out with my girlfriends, it's hanging out with my family, my partner, getting in nature, grounding, all those things. Pickleball season is upon us. I'm actually in this super adorable pickleball outfit. So for those of you tuning in the South that, get the 4 seasons, it's just always pickleball weather, I'm a little slightly envious of you, and that's okay. but really focus on also the prayer, the meditation, reading your Bible, whatever that looks like for you, and continuing to fuel yourself, making sure that your blood sugars are well regulated. So honey, dates throughout the day, keeping up with the high protein is great. I am happy to report back that 20 grams of creatine, I mean, sure, you can get like additional bloating and water retention. Oh, well, I'll take the benefit of this very noticeable cognitive impact support, energy, and mental clarity that I just gave it a shot, right? So that's what biohackers do. When you're doing things to, purify your air, water, lighting, electromagnetics, eating the right foods, doing detoxing, and some of these other things that we do as biohackers. I did a lesson in spring tutorials where I gave you the royal tour of my home. For those of you who are in tutorials, if you're not yet, definitely register, join the fun. This is the best tutorials yet. I take you around my home and I show you how I set my home up for success to be this haven of reducing inflammation, essentially through reducing oxidative stress, which is present in our external environment. And kind of the theme of the last couple episodes here is more of what is the mental and emotional and nervous system and blood sugar environment that you are in, and also hormonal environment. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to stay tired and fatigued and grumpy, or are you going to spend maybe an extra 5-10 minutes getting yourself extra cute for the day? This applies to the guys too. Get a haircut, trim that beard, do your grooming, put on a cute outfit too, eat well. Maybe bonus points if you go to the gym and get a little bit of a muscle swell. I do have to appeal to the male audience here too, because 25% of the listeners here on the School of Radiance podcast are gents, which I think is really cool. But at the end of the day, all these things that I talk about are going to be supportive for both the masculine and the feminine. And it's also really key to keep those qualities of you balanced. So when we are accomplishing tasks and doing things that bring us closer and in alignment with our purpose as ladies, yeah, you're going to be a little bit more in the thinking, analytical, and accomplishing tasks mode, which is the masculine mode. And then the feminine balance to that is going to be that creative, kind of like happy, nurturing, healthy, beauty-filled state. So have some more beauty in your life, whether that's through your self-care, your beautification, bring some flowers into your home, going for a walk with loved ones, and just appreciating the beauty of the spring, which is, it kind of feels like everything is coming back to life. So if you're in a funk, I want you to just be in the moment of where we are in the season, which is springtime, where we get to show a little extra skin. Again, I'm in this super adorable little pickleball outfit, sleeveless, shorts, and I might be dressing a little bit optimistically today because it's not super warm. The sun was out. It just went down behind some clouds, and kind of that weather still of wait 5 minutes because it might rain, but it is what it is, right? So just learn to flow through things and recognize if you do need to maybe support your sleep, if you need to just get back on track with your nutrition. If you are going through things, I definitely recommend avoiding escapism, right? Whatever that might look like for you, through movies or food or sugar or alcohol or whatever. Just focus on things that are constructive. I do find for me getting into the mode of personal development and doing things that, are fun to do, having that fun, I think is a great way to just kind of shift your mood. And I'm super curious if you are willing to do 20 grams of creatine. And if you have ever experienced this, I never heard of this. Is almost like kind of like a macro dose of creatine, because again, like 3 to 5 grams a day is sort of the standard, and 20 is really high. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to utilize this biohack again of ramping up the creatine. And again, the creatine gummies from Organifi makes it super easy at organifi.com/Varga. Um, so if you haven't utilized creatine yet in your active life journey with, high protein, creatine are pretty standard to actually get those muscle gains. Also from that cognitive angle too. Um, Super curious to hear from those of you who tune into the show if you've been sort of hovering at that 3 to 5 grams, and if, say, you don't have the best sleep for whatever reason, you give the 20 grams of creatine a go. How do you feel? Again, just tuning in when you do something, do you notice that it provides a pretty noticeable benefit, or do you not really notice it? Basically anything that you do that is going to be supportive. I think the first way you're going to recognize if it is helpful and supportive for you is better sleep and better energy. And then following that, a couple weeks later, I would say, is your skin starts to just look a little bit brighter, look a little bit clearer, you feel better, and all of that. The other thing I want to mention is if you're feeling tired, around the springtime, a lot of us tend to get seasonal allergies. And when our eyes are feeling dry and itchy and scratchy, it can make us feel a little bit more tired, like, oh, I just want to take a nap because my eyes hurt, my eyes are dry. The reason I mention this is 50% of North America's population has dry eye. And I have been in the oculoplastics ophthalmology world, which is the specialty of eye rejuvenation, essentially, since 2011. And dry eye can be super debilitating for a lot of people. And with my paper that I wrote on oxidative stress status and its impacts on skin aging, if we make an effort to reduce on all fronts a reduction of inflammatory things that fill up the toxic bucket and increase our oxidative stress status and therefore inflammaging, if we can reduce that, I would say that you're going to be less likely to have that bucket tip over and maybe experience those seasonal allergies. I definitely have some friends and family members that used to just really struggle with seasonal allergies. And they told me that when they ramped up their antioxidant intake, NAC, quercetin, green tea extract, zinc, things like that, these really great cofactors and antioxidants that help to basically empty this toxic bucket, they are not having as much seasonal allergies. So I wanted to pass that along as well, because I also think it's quite relevant. And I would say that that was probably a bit of a contributor. I had to switch out my contacts too, and a fresh set in today. So it's really interesting how all these little things, if we are kind of like in a rut or we're just kind of like on autopilot, how these little things can really kind of accumulate, and then just all of a sudden you just really don't feel great. I'm sure that I'm not alone in this. I'm just as special as you are. And we're all humans here. We all go through things, but just have that self-awareness. Like, is there something that you can do in this very moment? Like deep breathing, giving yourself a hug, noticing the beauty around you, eating something, drinking something, adaptogens, grounding outside, listening to some positive music, I think is all really constructive, and not going through life looking like a quitter in your sweatshirt and sweatpants and, hair up in a wet bun kind of thing. There's a time and a place for having your home outfits in your sweatpants actually be super cute and adorable and cozy. But, you still want to have that effort with like a little bit of mascara, concealer, a little lip gloss, doing your hair a little cute. There's a time and a place for that as well. And in the membership, I actually get into some really cool ideas for loungewear and styling tips. The membership is a really fun place to hang out to just continue to keep you on that track of being your most radiant version. There's lots of other things that I do behind the scenes that I don't talk about on the show. However, since this community here on the School of Radiance podcast is very much like biohacking, how can we both look and feel our best? centered, I really wanted to share this and share also a product that I used in my own experience. Again, this is just my own experience of being a biohacker and giving something a go and seeing how I feel. And I'm reporting back that I'm noticing a huge difference in mental clarity with the 20 grams of creatine. Am I a little bit bloated? I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. Just looking at myself in the mirror. But I do feel fantastic. So keeping yourself grounded, well regulated, balance that hot and cold, all the things that I talked about here in the show, I just think are really good kind of tools to have in your toolkit and strategies to help carry you through life. And maybe there's someone in your life that also just needs a little bit extra support. Maybe mention one of the things that I talked about here on the show. Don't give them the Coles notes of all of the things that they should be doing. I call this the biohacking fire hose. That could easily overwhelm someone who is already in a bit of a nervous system compromised, stressed out, tired state. Okay. So just kind of take yourself for a moment into their shoes, how they might be feeling. Is there something that you could do to help brighten their day? And it could be something as simple as a hug or a smile. Just also have those boundaries around how to protect and maintain and keep your energy stores charged up so that when stuff happens, when, retrogrades happen and all this stuff, not to mention the world stuff, that's always happening. There's always something that's going to be, okay, this is next. Okay, this is next. Okay, this is happening. There's always going to be things that we could get down and out about or stressed out on, but really focus on my favorite F words: faith, family, fun, freedom, fitness, finances. I'm sure you could add some other ones in there as well, but do continue to focus on those things, because the way that you carry yourself, the energy at which you move through life, is going to have a direct impact on your level of attractiveness and your level of beauty because of your internal landscape, right? Your mental and emotional state, your nervous system state, it's all tied to the physical, and also those things that I just mentioned. Your physical body, your physical environment directly impacts how you look and how you feel. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, was the 20 grams of creatine experiment that I basically did today. Here to report back, like, wow, what a difference. And if you are going through something, just, give yourself that grace to just feel what you're feeling and flow through it. And then pick yourself back up, do your beautification, do something constructive that's going to help you feel better, not the escapism route. And continue to use great products and care for the largest organ of your body, like the Always Radiant skincare products that I have so carefully made. I'm so excited that there's the hyaluronic acid, the eye serum, the copper peptide, the Carbon 60 antioxidant serum, the light moisturizer, the heavy moisturizer, and also the recovery spot gel. So say, for example, like I get a burn or a cut, I'll put that on it. Super excited to share that update. And also just one other update here. You will continue to notice that on the Skin Shop, I am phasing things out. A couple of different reasons for that behind the scenes. Either it's too hard to get, the price has been jacked up, or the ingredients have shifted, or I've been able to make a better alternative product to it. So that's why if you go on the Skin Shop, something I might have recommended in the past might not be there. I have always done this, by the way. This is not new. Every quarter, I would go through the products that I offer and see if something needs to be phased out for one of those reasons. So this isn't new, but just maybe a reminder that if you have gotten something like a moisturizer, like an eye cream, like an antioxidant serum from me in the past, just know that I've been able to make those products with preserved with colloidal silver, which I'm super happy about. And that feel great. They don't have added fragrances. It's like, oh, this smells a bit funky. The consistency is great. Super happy about it. Also, when I launched the product a number of months ago, I really wanted to focus on the formulation itself and a great pump that it's in. So airtight, minimal packaging. So I do know that the labels weren't the best on the initial launch, but that has been adjusted now. So you'll notice when you reorder that the product itself, the label is going to feel much better and all of that. But I really just wanted to focus on getting a great product out there. And then when the time is right, when I have the energy to do so, and it's time to kind of just continue to hone and make better, that's what I do. But, you know, doing and taking action and not being so concerned about it being completely perfect, because that can be paralyzing. So just making positive, constructive movements to live your purpose, achieve your goals, be the best person you can, be the most beautiful, radiant version you can, I think is just a great approach. Perfection does not exist. Perfection does not exist. Just do the best you can. That will translate. You're going to feel that confidence in yourself that, yeah, you're making good movement in the right direction. Perfectionism doesn't exist, and everyone's going through their own journey, but just make sure that your journey is as dialed in as possible. That's quite a key term, being dialed in. I think that that's a great framework to look at how to both look and feel your best, is to simply be as dialed in a way that feels great for you, with your budget, with your lifestyle, with your values. It's going to look different. Your life and your routines are going to look different than others around you based on their budget, lifestyle, and values. And in the seasonal skincare tutorials with the spring one happening now, I invite you to register, join the fun. I show you my routines. Learn more over at the schoolofradiance.com. Don't forget to check out the Organifi creatine gummies that I love over at the biohacking page. If you have any questions, I warmly invite you to either book a 15-minute meet and greet with me. I'd love to connect with you, hear what some of your skin goals are, and provide some insights into the strategies that I think could be really supportive of you. I'm here to support you. And thank you to everybody for subscribing to the show, sharing the show with a loved one, and continuing to order products, book your one-on-ones, join the tutorials, join the membership. There's lots of ways that I can support you. The custom cake recipe is the one-on-one. The icing on the cake is the tutorials with product demonstrations, as well as dermal rolling tutorial. And then also the membership, which is the cherry on top. We're all human. We're all just doing the best we can in life, and wanted to share something with you that really helped me out today that, maybe might help one of you out as well. Love you all so much, and I'll see you again right here on the School of Radiance podcast.